How we doing? That's a good question. Good. Great.
How much have you heard around town about the excitement for this game? You guys are coming off a big win. It's Kentucky. Just going around town, your daily routine. How much have you heard from the outside?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of buzz. I get, practice just ended. I grabbed my phone. There's a bunch of notifications on there. So I think just a lot of people, not only locally, but just that know us, the players, the coaches. A lot of people are excited for this opportunity in front of us.
Have you mentioned that you're 1-0 against Kentucky lifetime?
No, I haven't. I haven't said that, but hopefully we can go to 2-0. That'd be great for us. But it's fun for the guys. They've worked really hard to put themselves in position that this game matters more, I guess you'll say. I mean, to the fans and to all the people around. So it should be a fun atmosphere. It should be a great environment and just fun for the guys to go play.
The X and O's for Kentucky. What about them stands out from last year to this year? Have you noticed anything that's drastically
from Kentucky?
different?
Yeah, offensively they're significantly different and more versatile than they were last year. A lot of guys that can score. They shoot the three ball way better than what they did last year. They're better in transition than what they did last year. They were last year. So, completely different team on both sides. I'm sure he'll tell you they're completely different, and I think we all know we have a completely different team as well.
You were talking about how the team, after the Georgia loss, felt like they were on a bit of a mission headed into that Arkansas Road one. Do you feel that same energy from them headed into now a huge one tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, this whole thing is a mission. It's a journey, and so the more things that you ultimately accomplish, there'll be more buzz around the next thing that you have a chance to do. But we try to just take it one game at a time, and they all mean the same, honestly. But it'll be fun. Just it's Kentucky, and they have a really good team this year, and we get a chance to come back home and put ourselves in a chance or in a position where we could be 2 games up, over 500 in the league. So.
Lamont, I heard that Kentucky recently got a 7-footer that now can play.
Yeah.
How does that impact your game plan? How does that impact what you guys want to do with it?
Not a whole lot. I mean, we try to, especially at this point in the season. You're like 2/3 of the way through, about almost. But you just worry about what you do. And if you do the things, I find oftentimes if you do the things well that you hold dearly, you end up being in a good position. If you're a team that values rebounding or values shooting a bunch of threes or values post play or whatever it is, if you look back and say the main 2 or 3 things that we like to do, we got done on that day, you find yourself in a pretty good position. And so we'll worry most about us. I mean, he's a talented player. But they got a lot of guys that are talented, a lot of guys that can play. They do a good job playing well together. They share the ball. It's a friend of mine played against him this year, and he says it's one of the best 3 offensive teams that he's ever been around. So it presents a good challenge for us.
What did you know you were going to start Zach before the last game, and what did you see from him that really stood out in that game he started last week?
It was when I found out Miles wasn't going to be able to play. We made the decision that Zach would get the start, and he did a really good job defensively. Really good job. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just pulling this out of thin air, but that's got to be one of Mark's worst halves. That first half, he only had 2 points. And a lot of that was when Zach was on him with his length, and Zach did a good job of being disciplined and trying to stay in front of the ball as much as he could do. And I thought he did a really, really good job. That's his strength right now. I mean, I think if someone at the next level called me tomorrow because they wanted to hire Zach Davis to play, I'm sure they would ask me about who can he guard, what he does defense. I think that would be the bulk of the interest. And so there's a lot of value to that. He's a very versatile defender. He's got some room to grow as an offensive guy, but right now the way he can impact the game significantly, and I think you saw it in that last game, is with his versatility on the defensive side.
Obviously, it's a blackout game. You got a few different QZip black jackets you can choose from. A
Yeah.
couple of them you're undefeated in. Another one
Yeah.
you got 7 wins, 3 losses. Do you know which one you're wearing tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I probably ought to come to the game tomorrow with a QZip that's undefeated. I probably ought to do that. I think the math would probably work better in my favor. So we'll see. We got one. There's a new one that I haven't even worn that's also black. It's black. So we'll see what it looks like.
What is that like for you, how the fans have kind of adopted that and rallied behind the
Yeah.
whole QZip mentality?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, honestly, it's fun. I'm not some sort of fashionista. I think that's probably part of the reason why it's even more fun is because I'm pretty basic when it comes down to that kind of stuff. And I just think it's cool that they have something that they can rally around. The attention's great. The team's playing well. I think the timing of it was great. And so it's fun for them. I saw the T-shirts that we did in the last game. I've seen the QZip cam, which is people are so creative. I get text messages. Like I said, I got 9 notifications. I bet 1 or 2 of them probably have something to do with the QZip. So people are so creative with some of the gifts and things that I've seen.
So you're aware of the QZip memes?
Yes, yeah. I've seen some of them. I knew that there was a running tally on which QZips have performed better than others, and so part of it was a very simple process to figure out what I was. You don't have a sport coat, tie, what suit am I going to wear? It's pretty easy decision making, but now that these numbers have come out on the performance of a couple of these QZips, I'm back into decision making mode as to what I'm going to do on game day.
A couple games ago, you sat Meikle for an overtime. You responded with 2 pretty good games last week. What did you see from him in that response, and I guess what did you like about it?
Yeah, I will say that I didn't sit Meikle. That's not my terminology, right? He happened to not be in the game because the group that was playing well together, and he wasn't in that group at that time. So, but I'd say that's the first thing. But he's responded. He's played well. Again, I don't want it to come across that it was some sort of punishment that it was for a behavioral deal or you didn't play well, so I'm going to sit you. Had nothing to do with that at all. And so, but he's played well. We need him to be aggressive. We play better when he plays better. We play better when BJ makes threes. You can see that was probably one of our best offensive games in the Arkansas game when BJ was able to knock down a couple threes. The spacing on the floor just gets significantly better, which allows some other guys to get in the paint and drive and do some other things. So, this is such a good team that we're playing, and they're so talented offensively. To think you're going to hold them to 55 points is probably not realistic. So you're going to have to put some points on the board. So we need guys feeling good about what they're doing, generating high-quality shots, and then stepping up and knocking those things down.
So much of the conversation coming into the year was about what this team was going to be offensively, but you've got one of the best defensive teams in the country. How has that come about? Did you foresee any of that at any point?
I think I said early in the year that our defense was ahead of our offense. I think we've probably grasped some things defensively quicker than what I thought we would. And that has been our calling card, is what we've gotten done on the defensive end. But I think I mentioned this once before. The 5 guys that are out there on the floor, there are a lot of defensive game plans. And almost all of them are great defensive game plans. Some involve trapping and pressing. Others involve playing zone the entire game. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. One thing that's made our guys really good at our philosophy is that they try really, really hard to accomplish the things that we ask them to do. And some of them are they're against what they've done their whole lives. We're asking them to be really disciplined sometimes. We're asking a guy that didn't grow up being a physical player to be physical in some situations. And to their credit, they try really hard to accomplish the things that we ask them to do, and that's resulted in a pretty good defensive performance on most nights.
Lamont, what's it like having Dawn as a resource? It seems like she shouts at you guys on social media as much as she does her own team.
Yeah, Dawn's great. Dawn's a rock star. I mean, I'm gonna have to get more active on my own Twitter so I can shout her out more. But it's like, you're waiting for something so special. But what they're doing, it's like, let's not get bored with the fact that what they're doing, which is incredible. It's unbelievable, literally, what they're doing on the offensive side. I don't even know who's good when they play a team, it's hard for me to judge if the team is any good or not because her team is so good in all aspects and all facets of the game. But Dawn's great. I've gotten to know her really well. I respect and appreciate what she's accomplished and what she's built. It wasn't like that when she first got here, but more importantly, she's just a good person. She's such a good person, and I feel fortunate to call her a friend. And then, sometimes as head coaches, it's great just to be able to bounce some things off of each other, or we're struggling with this or with that. And she's been awesome in that regard too. But above all else, she's an incredible person.
Talon's gotten some recognition from other SEC coaches as we've gotten into SEC play. I know Eric mentioned them after Arkansas. What does it mean to be able to see your starting point guard be able to get recognition from other coaches rather than you guys constantly always talking about what high level of IQ he has?
Yeah, I think what the coaches recognize, like after you sift through everything and the dust settles, coaches see some of the things that really impact winning that maybe don't always show up in the stat line, and a lot of his does. When you look at his assist to turnover situation, and there's no surprise that he's doing that. He's done that his whole career. But defensively, I think he's getting some recognition also for what he's doing defensively with some of the guys that he's had to guard on a consistent basis. But coaches have a way of identifying some things that don't often show up for the masses to recognize, and so it's good for him to get that recognition. We already know it in our circle, how vital and valuable he is to us. But it's nice that some other guys, it's nice for him and for his family to be able to see some of the fanfare that other people are making of what he's doing.
How would you evaluate Josh Grady's play against Arkansas, and how important can he be going against those 7-footers tomorrow night?
Yeah, Josh was good. Josh had really good energy. He made an impact. He had a really strong finish around the basket. Could have easily been an and-one situation, but he concentrated and finished strong through some contact. And he's a massive guy, like I've said before. So I think just in SEC, we saw it last year in SEC play. Josh's size had an impact, and so thought he was good. He's just always on a mission to be more consistent. Right? This is not a guy that's played a ton of minutes, so he's just trying to be more consistent with catching and finishing, with decisions that he's making. He's improved in a lot of different ways. It doesn't always show up in the minutes that he plays because our overall team has improved also, and quite frankly, we play in a different way sometimes. We stretch the floor with a guy like BJ who's more skilled in that situation from the perimeter, and so. But I give Josh a lot of credit for acknowledging his role, accepting his role, and thriving in his role. But yeah, just trying to have him be consistent. But I think he can be an impact as we work our way through SEC play.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.